3, 2, 1.
All right, good Tuesday morning, everybody. We have got yet another bro show on KSAT News Now. David Sears with us this morning. And David, I think that yesterday, Alyssa did not want to do the bro show because she knew we were going to take over. It was going to be Cowboys talk for 20 minutes straight.
Apparently, she still thinks we're going to talk about the Cowboys today.
Yeah.
But you know.
Still, yeah, a little worried. But
Sarah Spivey's here to keep
that's
things
right.
on an even keel.
Yeah, yeah. She's here for the bro show as well. And of course, Sarah always has some great stuff.
We do have Spurs to talk about in a second.
We do, yes. We are going to be talking a little bit of Spurs here, David, in just a little bit. And of course, some other news, 6 new Texas laws, a new Buc-ee's.
Oh, no.
Not in Texas.
No.
Man,
No.
we have some thoughts about this.
We do have some thoughts on the new Buc-ee's.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking about this new co-owner, a new strategic partner, as the Spurs like to say, has been announced for the organization. And a giant asteroid, David, did you know this? Just going to be passing through Earth today.
How big?
It's pretty big.
Big?
Yeah.
Passing through Earth or passing by Earth?
Hopefully just passing by Earth.
It's like
yes.
Just wave at it.
You're right.
As it goes
Good
by.
call
Okay,
there.
it's like another movie, right?
Yes.
How many asteroid movies are out there?
Let's see, Deep Impact, Armageddon,
Yeah.
a big asteroid movie aficionado here. And
Speaking of asteroids, speaking of changes, speaking of wait till Thursday rolls around. That's why we love Sarah Spivey being here, because she's going to explain what's going to happen on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday's going to be a big day.
It's going to be an interesting day in the weather department.
Yeah.
And also want to mention, guys, we have the KSAT News Now podcast, David. So, you know, you've done many things in your career here, and now you can officially say you're a podcaster.
This will be my first podcast. Where do you find that podcast?
I'm glad you asked, David. You can find it anywhere that you subscribe to your podcast, iTunes, Google, Android, any. Yeah.
So I got to go subscribe to something now to listen to myself again and listen to you and get the weather from Sarah? I got to go subscribe to that?
You do, okay. Yeah. So we just launched this yesterday. It should be pretty fun.
Well, glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. So after we're done with our show, we will get that uploaded. Lissa is doing a great job taking care of that part of our show as well. So we're in audio form, we're streaming, we're all over the place.
Man, we are everywhere.
You're a man of many talents
here. The Bro Show is everywhere. Watch out. So, all right, we're going to get serious here for a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the U.S. Senate taking up voting rights legislation later on today. The Senate is set to debate 2 measures that Democrats say would make it easier for all Americans to vote and reverse efforts by several states to limit ballot access.
That's right. We've seen a lot of states add in some new voting rights laws. So versions of both measures, which are called the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act, have been approved by the House but face an uphill battle in the Senate. The family of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spent yesterday putting pressure on lawmakers to pass those bills.
History will be watching what happens tomorrow. Black and brown Americans will be watching what happens tomorrow. In 50 years, students will read about what happens tomorrow and know whether our leaders had the integrity to do the right thing.
For all the elected leaders out there who are tweeting, posting, and celebrating my grandfather, Dr. King, today, my message to you is simple. Do not celebrate, legislate.
Yeah, under current Senate rules, it takes 60 senators to end debate and proceed to a vote, and that's probably not going to happen. Remember earlier, if you kind of follow along with politics, you know that the head of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, he wanted to kind of get rid of the filibuster for this particular legislation, for this particular vote, which would have made it just a simple majority. But there are 2 Democrats, Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, who would not vote for that. So they couldn't get rid of the filibuster. So it's going to take 60 to pass this legislation, and chances are they're not going to get 10 Republicans to
and that's
to
a good point there, because with the rules, with the filibuster and things like that, I believe it was Senator Manchin who said he did not want to get rid of the filibuster. So we will see the way that develops throughout the day.
Even Senator Sinema said she supported the bills, but she did not support getting rid of the filibuster. So that's kind of where we are right now. But once again, they're probably not going to get 60 because they need 10 Republicans to vote for it, and they're not going to get 10 Republicans to vote for this legislation.
Yeah, the Senate is evenly divided there. All right, David, from politics there in our nation's capital to some new laws that are now in effect right here in Texas. Everything from chaining up dogs to participation rules for public schools.
Now, one of the new laws says that unattended dogs will no longer be allowed to be restrained with chains or heavy weight outdoors. We've seen several stories over the years about just the punishment that these dogs go through, being left out in the front yard, chained to some big post or chained to the porch, and it's no longer allowed.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
is probably a pretty good thing when you consider that, especially in the summertime when the dogs can't get the water, it's so stinking hot outside. So that's a good law.
Because and it's hard to believe that it's taken this long for that law to go into effect. And also, speaking of that law, it also prohibits an owner from leaving a dog without proper shelter or shade from the sun. And as we mentioned right there, not leaving drinking water. You hate to see that when the dogs are chained up out in the yard and they look dehydrated. I mean, it's
not good. So great law right there. Another law that received a lot of attention last year was House Bill 25. And this is the new law that requires student athletes who compete in interscholastic competition to play on sports teams that correspond with the sex listed on their birth certificate at or near their birth time.
And this was the law basically for the Texas transgender kids. So they will no longer be allowed to compete in public school sports that from kinder to 12th grade. But there are some exceptions, David. Girls could play on the football team. We've seen that for a while. But if there is a girls' sports, then the girls they have to play in that sport.
Yeah, we've seen girls play on at least some JV teams and even some middle school teams in football. Kickers and running backs. I mean, we've been doing stories for years on how girls were able to participate in sports, but that's because there was no football on the girls' side, so they were able to come out for the boys.
Yeah, I remember I actually did a story of a girl who was on a South Side middle school team there, and she was their quarterback, running back. She's a hard hitter, so And David, we also have some 3 new laws also this morning that focus on redrawing the electoral maps that will be used over the next 10 years. That goes into district boundaries for the Texas House and the Senate there.
Of course, a lot of controversy about that, but there's your 3 laws on that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, the Spurs keep, they can't add any wins, but they add more investors.
Wow, I was trying to take a little side swipe at this.
I know that was harsh, wasn't it?
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
Strong?
I liked it.
Well, but hey, if they need a nap, they got a place they can go now.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Looking for a good Airbnb, David? Well, this guy may have the answer for you. He is one of the new Spurs investors. Organization announced this morning that Joe Gebbia, he's the co-founder and chairman of Airbnb, has joined the Spurs investor group as a new managing partner.
Hey, welcome aboard. We were reading about him and all the stuff that he's done as far as charity work and as far as helping out communities. And I think that was one of the reasons why the Spurs told us that they were excited about having him as part of their investment group because of his values kind of align with the Spurs. We know how much the Spurs are involved in the community here in San Antonio, especially the food bank and in other ways. And he is involved a lot in charitable donations and charitable work, and so those values line up with each other.
And
so
also,
why not?
Absolutely, and definitely a lifelong basketball fan. He used to be a ball boy for the Atlanta Hawks. That's where he's from. So, some interesting moves there from the Spurs.
And you said he was a young guy. What is he like?
He was like 40.
Like 40?
Yeah, imagine.
And you already got money to invest in an NBA team?
Hey, if you need to found something like Airbnb,
start renting
you got
out my
an
house
idea
or something. I don't know.
You got any ideas?
Is that how you do that? You rent out of like a room or something? I think we'll do that. Wow.
Yeah. So if something comes to you, let me know. Maybe we could.
Hey. That worked, but welcome. So now we have. We talked about this earlier. We have Airbnb, so we have a place to stay.
Okay.
If we need to do some construction work, we've got Holtz. So we got all kinds of tractors down there. And then if you need to get on a computer and figure out what's going on, as long as you've got some good Wi-Fi, Dell Computer takes care of you.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good investor group for your NBA franchise, isn't it? Those guys are never without anything.
We got you covered. It's a diversified portfolio, covered all over the place there. David, some quick social media reaction. There's some people saying that hopefully he likes rings. Let's get some more, and it's time for this front office to make some moves. What do you think about that?
I wonder what that means.
Yeah. Another person saying that AT&T Center is definitely going to be named Airbnb Center, isn't it?
Well, see now, the Airbnb Dell Center.
Oh. Okay, I like the ring of that. That's pretty good.
Or the Holt Dell Airbnb.
Holt Dell Airbnb.
They put some long name up there. So there's options.
David, you mentioned the game itself. So you came up with something here.
You didn't
I didn't today, man. You know what? I just didn't have the heart to to hurt the
Okay.
Spurs.
Well, here's my stick figure. Can you see that?
Did not have the heart to do it today.
Sun
So we can.
set the Spurs. That's what. There's the sun behind the Spur logo. But I did put in Big J.
Yes.
I just called him Big J. Jakob Poeltl had
Yeah.
23. He led the Spurs last night.
Oh, here we go. I think we have you on the one shot here. So here we go.
Oh, there it is. See, that's
Look at David's masterpiece.
that's the sun setting the Spurs.
Thank you, sir.
And Big J.
It's like a golf clap.
He's not slamming. He's just laying it in. He doesn't slam the ball a lot. He likes to lay it in.
No, he does not. One of the
So
things
he's
that
laying
kind
it
of
in,
bugs me.
But he
about
had 23
Jakob.
points last night. He led the Spurs.
He did play well. He did
they
play
lost.
well. 23 points, 14 rebounds. Spurs lose to the Phoenix Suns there. So, David, thanks for, you know what? Thank you for doing the stick figures.
Hey,
I didn't have the heart
you
to
know,
do it today.
Try to participate. Now we just all go to an Airbnb and take a nap, and we'll be good.
Yeah,
Get ready for the next game, which is Oklahoma City tomorrow night, I think. Isn't that right?
We do have, it is, yeah. Hopefully Spurs can bounce back here.
Ooh,
All right,
now
David.
this one here.
This story has gotten a lot of attention. Texas, how about this? We can no longer claim the biggest Buc-ee's because Tennessee is about to stake their claim to that title. Oh, what is going on here? How dare Buc-ee's turn their back on it?
Okay, so the New Braunfels Buc-ee's, 66,335 square feet. They measured it right down to the square foot, 335, 66,335, 120 gas pumps, 1,000 parking spots, and a 255-foot long car wash.
Yeah.
That's the Buc-ee's here in San Antonio.
All right. Well, that is about to be eclipsed by this new Buc-ee's that is planned there in Tennessee. I'm trying to think. How do you pronounce the name of the town? Sevierville? Sevierville. So all we know is that it is east of Knoxville. It is 74,000 square feet, 200 acres, 120 gas pumps. Same, yeah. Electric car charging stations and
does the
car
Broncos
washing
one not have
station.
electric car?
I don't know about that one, honestly. Yeah.
I bet they do now. I bet they'll get some. And it said 250 plus foot
Right.
on their car wash, whereas we know ours is 255. So they got to add 5 feet to their car wash.
Yeah.
For them to match us. So the only thing that makes them
torn on
bigger
this.
is 74,000 square feet as opposed to what do we have 66,000
yes.
feet.
Yeah.
So
I'm
they
a
got a
little
few
torn
thousand
here.
more square foot.
Yeah. I'm a little torn here because obviously everything's bigger and better right here
Yeah.
in Texas. But obviously Buc-ee's, expanding their business out a little bit. Not to say that
We'll figure it
Buc-ee's
out.
here will be affected.
If you go
anyway.
out to where the Buc-ee's is, there's some concrete out there that they can build a building next to that concrete
Okay.
and add it to the square footage. They can come up with, what do they need, like 12,000 square feet, something like that? 10,000 square feet?
Just to add onto.
Just add onto it.
Just 1 square foot.
And
more.
just go like 15,000 just to make sure you're over Tennessee.
You never know. Yes. And David, you did bring up something earlier.
Hey,
we were talking, and Alyssa just got in our ear and mentioned it.
About the.
You were talking about a little history here. How Tennessee came down to help us.
Come down and help us out, but now you coming down and take our, come down and help us out with the Alamo. Now you coming down and take our Buc-ee's.
Oh man.
No, we're not. No.
Yeah.
No.
How
We'll figure this out. We're gonna Buc-ee's are gonna get bigger. Have you ever been to Buc-ee's just to shop?
Oh yeah, it is. It's a nice place to get some last minute gifts. Okay, Alyssa's
Christmas
moving on here.
Um,
David, okay, speaking of bigger and better here, this is pretty
this is the
interesting.
Asteroid
Yes,
thing?
this is the Asteroid. It looks like a old video game,
there's
like
the moon.
Space Invaders or
There's
something.
the Earth.
David, have you heard about this? A large asteroid set to fly by Earth this afternoon. NASA says it will pass within 1.2 billion miles of our planet.
What? 1.2 million miles? That's not close, is it?
It's going to be one of the closest, right?
The moon's like 250,000 miles away. So the moon's like 250,000 miles away. So it's a lot farther than the moon is from.
Yeah. So and the moon's not going to crash us. So
No.
why are we worried about this asteroid?
Apparently, it's one of the closest asteroids that we've had in years. I don't know, Sarah, is that?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Does this one have a name?
Probably. It's probably got, the name is probably like 1576255-34, but I don't know exactly what the name is.
Yeah, there was a funny part in this as we write down some of these notes here. It says, scientists do not expect it to hit Earth. Thank you very much.
That's relief.
Important.
Appreciate that. So go on.
Oh
about
yeah,
your
look,
business.
see, it's called 7482.
Oh my
Open
Lord.
parentheses 1994 PC1 close
Oh,
parentheses.
is that it right there?
It's like a social media
You
password.
could actually see it with the telescope if you wanted to, but
That's right. It says amateur astronomers will be able to
Yeah.
see that.
You gotta go right by the moon.
yeah, just got to look out for that other big thing close
Big thing
to
out there. Wow. It's a kilometer wide.
Yeah, yeah.
How don't we just throw like kilometers? How many feet is that? How many
That's
inches
some
is
NASA talk.
kilometer?
I don't know.
Well, think about it. So like a 5K is like 3.5 miles. So
So how
So it would be about.
it's about
a-
3/5 of a mile
Okay.
wide?
wide.
That's
yeah.
it? I thought it was like some big, huge thing. It's only 3/5 of a mile wide.
boy.
That's not big.
That's big enough, though. if that came crashing into
Either
Earth.
way, we
Space
don't
is
want it hitting us.
Space is infinite. So, that's nothing in space.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh boy. Well, Sarah.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about in the weather
All right,
world.
well,
So something a
take
little
it
bit
away.
more impactful than an asteroid here that's really far away is the fact that we're probably going to see some ice on Thursday. So
yes.
I do want to talk about that, about the possibilities. But first thing to know is that it's actually going to be really spring-like today and tomorrow. So we'll have temperatures in the 70s both today and tomorrow. But then a strong front is going to arrive on Wednesday. And that'll set up the atmosphere for the potential for a wintry mix on Thursday. But I gotta say, this is not going to be Snowmageddon 2.0. Okay, so we
Very
don't need to
important.
worry
Yes, very
about
important to
we
note
don't
that.
need to worry about a Texas-wide winter storm like what we had last February, but the impacts will be far more local to San Antonio. So again, for the rest of the day today, gorgeous outside. I mean, we're going to be up to 73 this afternoon, plenty of sunshine, a beautiful day. You'll need the shades. And then by tomorrow morning, there is going to be some areas of fog early tomorrow morning. We'll see sun and it'll be warm. High temperatures tomorrow will be actually near 80 degrees. And then that front's going to move through in the evening hours. And then David and RJ, this is where I want you all to pay attention, and the viewers at home too, is because early Thursday morning, it does look like we'll have some light wintry mix of sleet, freezing rain up in the hill country. And then throughout the day on Thursday, that'll push into San Antonio and into Bexar County. And so again, notice how we can't really pinpoint exactly where the light mix is going to occur, but we do know that generally all of San Antonio, all of the hill country has a chance for a light wintry mix, and that'll push south by Friday morning, and we'll actually see some clearing. So I like this graphic because it shows you what we're planning for and what we're watching for. We're planning for the temperatures in the 30s Thursday. So we're going to go from near 80 to 30s. It's going to be blustery with a wind chill in the 20s. And we are planning for some wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain, lighter side. And then we're going to be watching for an icy glaze on bridges and overpasses. Now the ground is going to be far too warm for us to see widespread heavy ice accumulations, but you get a little glaze on the bridges and overpasses, and you've seen people, going 70 miles an hour of those bridges and overpasses, and we could potentially also be below freezing for several hours as well. Got any questions about this, guys?
Yeah, well, I guess it would be even worse out in the hill country with some of those bridges, even from Kerrville all the way up to almost Austin, right?
Yeah, especially because those bridges and overpasses don't get treated as much as the ones around the city. So it's going to be something to look out for. Again, all indications are right now that it should stay on the lighter side. But any kind of glaze on the bridges and overpasses is going to result in some kind of travel hazards on Thursday. So.
And I know people are a little gun shy just because of last year. So, but you're here to keep them calm and make sure they understand that this is not what we had last year.
We are. And if you have any weather questions, you can send them on the Facebook comments, and we'll try to answer them tomorrow too when we talk about the forecast. Just notice how cold it's going to be though. So we're really only going to be in the 30s on Thursday, hovering right around that freezing mark. So that's why I think we could have several hours below freezing potentially. We'll be in the 20s Friday morning, and there could still be a couple of patches of black ice Friday morning as well out there, but we'll keep you updated. But then unlike last year when we were below freezing for 107 hours, we're quickly going to get above freezing Friday. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm not majorly concerned about this, but it is something to keep an eye on, especially if you have travel plans Thursday. You need to get to work, you need to get to school, those kinds of things.
I think we learned our lesson last year, though, even if it's not the major event, if you're going over those overpasses and you're going over the exchanges, like the real high ones up there at 1604 and 281, or over there at 410 and 281 or 410 and 10. And
those flyovers,
real high ones.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about.
Good to think about. And then we do have a small chance for rain into early next week too. But again, this is not going to be a deep freeze. It's just going to be a Thursday to Friday morning event that we're going to want to keep our eyes on. So thanks guys for having me, and we'll continue to keep you updated on the Bro Show. Yeah.
Where's Paul Bunyan when you need him?
To cut down some.
There's firewood for this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
We are. Yeah. Sarah's like, where are we going with this one?
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I've
could
already heard from people
Yeah.
on Facebook and Twitter that people are buying up all the toilet paper,
Oh.
buying up all the water.
Okay.
Leave some for your neighbors.
Yes, just take what you need.
Exactly.
Take what you need.
I think that's good
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Sarah. Appreciate
Appreciate
that.
it.
Why does toilet paper come up on this show all the time? When you see me doing
This
it?
is literally, I know, we've had this conversation a few times
We had
about
this
toilet
conversation
paper.
last week about the toilet paper. I
Yes,
know.
yes, it was kind of the.
Why is that? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it just kind of comes back around on us.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yes, thank you very much, Sarah. Okay, so David, just wrapping things up here with some Facebook comments. I asked people what's their favorite thing to get from Buc-ee's, and Michael Sinclair said the jerky there is the best. He loves it, and hadn't gotten any other responses to that. But do you have a favorite?
Christmas
from
gifts.
Last minute Christmas gifts.
Big soda.
Yes.
You go over there and get some of the beef jerky, and then you
Right.
go shopping for Christmas gifts.
Yeah, there we go. I know Alyssa
Works.
had a suggestion for a really good.
The what? The Buc-ee's Nuggets?
The
Sarah.
nuggets. Okay. Yeah.
always calls them the wrong thing.
And Alyssa,
Those are popular.
the
Yeah.
producer, like the, what'd you like, Alyssa?
It's like a club.
The club
Some-
sandwich or something.
Some club that
Did
you
she
have to
where'd
order.
Alyssa go? She left.
She's right there.
She's right there.
Yeah, so
The club
there we go.
sandwich. She
There
likes
we
the
go.
club sandwich. So there's some good food there.
Yeah, I definitely like the hot food. I think is pretty good there. I also usually get a coffee every time I kind of stop by there. So yes,
And
Buc-ee's,
Tennessee, we're
good
coming
stuff.
after you. We're going to figure out how to increase the size of the bucket.
Yeah, even if we have to do it ourselves. All right, David, thank you very much for being with us this morning. David's going to be
Beautiful.
there
Enjoyed it.
at noon here for KSAT News at noon. We got a couple of big things coming up. New COVID testing site opens at the Alamo Dome, and you're going to be with Sarah Costa. I'm actually going to head out there, David. So you're going to
That's
see
where you're
me
going right now, to the new
I'm heading out there
to the new
here in
testing
just a
site?
bit.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So we will wrap things up here. Thanks, guys, for being with us. Make sure to check out the podcast. Now going to be Monday through Friday, and we appreciate you being with us. Have a very happy Tuesday.
See you.